I don't live in a big city, but in a small town whose homes have turned concrete from mud, including mine, as a development of the place grew with time. So during summer time, I often notice that summer feels extremely hot, unlike before. Days are hot, but then even nights don't feel cool either. Morning feels as if it's middle of the day. So I looked into the heat causing reasons in summer and found various reasons. But soon I understood that each place has its own dominant reasons too. So to truly understand heat experience of a place, I looked into one of the known hot place in India, Gangapur city, Rajasthan. This city is known to have trees, water, source and agricultural land. But still, during summer, it becomes extremely hot, reaching the temperature up to 44 to 45 degrees Celsius. So, after studying the region of the city heat experience, I divided the condition into two parts. First part is primary condition. These are the main reasons for extreme heat in the city. And another second part is the secondary condition. These one helps intensify the existing heat. So let's start with the first part, primary condition. First one, first condition is sun position and latitude. See, sun position means how much a place receives heat. It talks about heat intensity, like how hot it will feel, and latitude means how long a day length will be in a place, like how many hours. So because the city has low latitude, its day's length can go up to 12 to 13 hours in a day in summertime. And since the area falls into the tropic of Cancer, so during summertime in India, the sunshine falls directly above the tropic of Cancer. So having high sun position means maximum solar radiation reaching the surface due to direct sun position, or you can say less sunlight being absorbed through atmosphere layer. And since the city has both lengthy daytime with high sun position during summer, it receives maximum heat, keeping the area warm for long period of the time. Next condition is surface moisture. Surface moisture means having water bodies like rivers, lakes, or even seas on the surface. You know that when water receives heat, it evaporates and becomes clouds, which then rains, giving moisture to the soil. And to actually rain, water bodies have to be large enough to keep generating water vapor till it reaches the point when rain is possible. So then the moist soil helps vegetation grow on a land like grasses, trees, bushes, etc. And that vegetation keep the environment cool as it absorbs the solar radiation for food and also provide shades too. But the city lacks significant surface moisture. Because of that, existing vegetation becomes dry, turning the land completely brown. And that dry, thirsty land receives long period of maximum heat, turning the surface extremely warm as there is nothing to cool it down. And that warm environment creates dry and warm air which flows into the city, increasing the city temperature. So these are the natural causes. Let's talk about human cause. City built material, like what kind of materials are used in the city creation. Nowadays buildings are made of concrete, bricks, metal, etc. Roads are made of black material called asphalt or concrete. These materials are known to have high thermal mass, meaning they are rough dark surface, reflect less sunshine and absorbs more heat. And they also release that absorbed heat pretty slowly, keeping the area warm for long period of the time. And that's why even the night feels warm too. So just like any other city built, this city is also made of the same material which absorbs more heat and release it slowly. So now you add the long periods of extreme heat and dry warm air with high heat capacity material, the combination ends up creating extreme heat experience. But things would become cool eventually if these were the only causes. But the story doesn't end here, because we also have secondary conditions which helps intensify this heat experience in summer. As you know, as important as a surface built material, equally important is the layout or structure of a city. And Indian cities, often old ones, are unplanned structures. They just grow with time. In such structures, buildings are connected to each other. And this city also have similar structure. So when concrete houses are connected to each other, they transfer heat from one place to another due to material heat conductivity. Thus, even those surfaces becomes hot too, which are not even exposed to the direct sunlight, like inside a room or inside a home. So when the area is made of concrete or other heavy heat absorbing material and lacks vegetation in large scale, then during surface heat release at night, the heat flows into direction of cooler areas, turning each area warm at night too. This situation gets worse if the area is closed or have narrow spaces, since heat can get trapped for a long time, failing to release that heat properly. However, this condition only applies to such city area only, not open spaces, because they release heat much more properly, much more sufficiently. So heat experience of the city turn into this combination: long periods of intense heat, dry warm air, high heat absorbing and slow heat release material, and connected concrete enclosed narrow spaces, if there are any. However, we still have one very important factor which helps into extreme heat experience, and this is human activities. Though there are many human activities like use of water for cleaning, cooking, showering, which creates water vapor and increases humidity inside the house if the area is closed. But I don't consider it as the factor, as the houses are not completely closed spaces. They have like enough space to flow inside outside air situation. So I included those factors which has significant impact on environment. First, the heavy use of AC. You see, AC dump the inside built heat into the outside environment to cool the inside space. Because of that, the nearby outside temperature rises significantly. Now you think, a place blasting many AC at the same time, increasing the outside temperature, which is already extreme. Actually, I assume the city would also use AC as the city becomes extremely hot to live. I know that it uses AC, but I don't know the amount of it. So consider it just one of the factor. Next activity is heavy use of vehicles. See, vehicles which are run by fuels release waste heat which gets absorbed by the dark road, and this increases the environment heat amount. Vehicles also release greenhouse gases like CO2, which becomes a barrier by hanging in the atmosphere. They trap the released heat from the surface and redirect it back at the surface. So area which are densely packed with traffic turns extremely hot, and nowadays everybody has vehicles, so the traffic is growing. So to reduce the traffic on roads, they turn roads wider by cutting land trees if there are any, and reducing the vegetation in the area, and increasing high heat absorbing road length, which is used by the vehicles, which also helps into increasing the surface heat. You know what I mean? Last human activity I included in this list is industries. Industry uses machineries which release greenhouse gases, and we know what a greenhouse effect due to the surface heat. So even a small scale industrialization has significant impact on greenhouse problem. And this city has all of the human activities I have listed, even if the amount is not massive. So finally, this city extreme heat experience is the combination of these conditions: long periods of extreme heat hours, dry and warm air due to moisture problem, high heat absorbing and slow heat release surface material or the city with poor layout, and heat intensifying human activities like AC, heavy use of vehicles and machinery in industries. With time, the situation can go any direction depending on the choices made by the people. But what I realized, that in such situation everyone suffers, but mostly economically weak people, animals who lives nearby, or even vegetation suffers the most.